Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's gonna be Dysnomia taking on negativeZero. So the recently returned Protos bot gonna be taking on an ERIS variant is the best way I'd describe this bot. Produced by Team ERIS, they have got basically an offshoot of the top bot, but it's got some tweaks to it. And so the main point of the cast today is going to be whether we can see some of those tweaks. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more bots. And then, of course, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as I put up these bot videos every day. We've been on a pretty good roll lately. So the map is going to be Thunderbird, and yeah, we're just going to see whether the bot authors of Dysnomia have anything crazy cooked up. This bot isn't always active on the ladder. They only activate it sometimes, I believe, in order to test out certain things, or maybe they just want to, try out some wacky stuff. For example, a quick fourth hatchery to start the match off. An ridiculously greedy play by Dysnomia to start this off. However, the bot authors were like, how can we make ERIS be more just provocative, I guess. I can't think of a better word for it right now. And that would just be to play even greedier than it already does by taking a fourth base, just right on location. And so Dysnomia is going to have a lot of economic potential in this game. This is something no one does. Like, thanks to speed mining, though, the Zerg bot is able to get out that fourth base quite quickly. Human players can't get up a fourth hatchery this fast. The speed mining definitely proves that. And yeah, we're gonna see if it can get away with it, how useful it will be. Lots of these bots are often rather greedy. Now, this is next level, basically. So we do have negativeZero gonna be sending this Adept across the map, heading into the base of Dysnomia, which has yet to make a single Zergling to try and defend against this. So the early game Adept of negativeZero is having some really good success, just picking off drones. Dysnomia, despite an Adept killing off some of its drones, is just ignoring the problem, canceling the shade there, and cleaning out the natural base. So negativeZero is getting a massive amount of damage done with the first Adept. A Queen does pop out, so that should signal the end of this aggression. However, now Dysnomia elects to fire up. Oh, okay, some drones are actually fighting the Adept, so that's good to see. Interesting how Dysnomia doesn't fight the Adept at the natural base, but then inside the main base. Maybe they have some kind of requirement to say, hey, there needs to be at least 10 drones in the mineral line before you bother to try and fight something. All in all, though, that early game Adept, I think, probably offset any economic advantage of this fourth base very quickly on. Now, I mean, it's still going to be nice to have, but yeah, the effectiveness of it is not going to be ideal. We have a robo facility on the way for negativeZero, getting out +1. A third base is already done for the Protos bot, so it is keeping pace with the economy of Dysnomia, which I have yet to call ERIS, which I'm very happy about thinking about that. And now we have got a lair on the way for Dysnomia, as the Zerg bot has just got Lings running all over the place, doing a good job keeping the zealots of negativeZero, which we're looking to go for an early game move out, rather busy. This is completely saving Dysnomia's bacon, as once again, it is very unprepared for some aggression. We do have a few Lings being produced in order to help out against potential aggression. Queen is responding to the Adept. The Adept cancels the Shade and actually just waltzes into the third base. The drones can now burrow themselves to keep themselves safe, though. A couple actually pull to fight the Adept, which is cool to see. Injured drones burrowing, non-injured ones staying underground. Looks like another few Adepts showed up at the front base, which is why that Queen is moving away from that location. They are getting a wraparound on one of the Adepts. The rest of them are shading all over the place. Meanwhile, negativeZero is saying late game, lair scouted. So the Protoss bot is aware of the situation. Whatever triggers it waits for before announcing that have been met. The drones here are not necessarily safe, though, in the face of all these zealots that are coming in and attacking for negativeZero. A queen, or a couple of queens and some lings are trying to respond to this, and the drones wouldn't be safe because of the observer that negativeZero has already got. It's quite a good Protoss bot when it comes to investing in those observers to make sure that it has the coverage that it needs. And yeah, still no fourth base for the Protoss bot. Pardon me, as I say that, there is a fourth base just starting up. And the Protoss invests in a Stargate, another Nexus on the way. Dysnomia has got a fifth base just about complete, and a little bit of Ling harassment going on the other side of the map. Some of these probes taking a little bit of damage to these Lings, so Dysnomia does strike back, getting 8 probes in all, 9 probes, 10 probes. The thing about these bots, ladies and gentlemen, is that they are able to, like, when they harass, the Lings always target workers. That's the thing. As a human player, even if you're the best in the world, there's no way you're just shift-clicking on all the workers. Now, we do have these Lings decide to take a fight against the Zealots and the few Adepts, which is not very good at all for Dysnomia. It's going to need to pump out some more units, and it is getting to that, as we do have some Roaches on the way, some Hydras on the way, 1/1 upgrades, Tunneling Claws, a sixth hatchery, pardon me. The Lings, though, are still running all over the place. negativeZero has invested in an Oracle, so it's going to have that for potential detection. Maybe stasis wards, we'll see. A few Zealots are looking to poke forward, but Dysnomia does have quite a few units at this point in the game. Seems to be playing a Roach Hydra style, which is not unconventional at all. And yeah, the main tweak for Dysnomia compared to ERIS, I'd say, is just the fact that it does elect to go for that quick early hatchery. Maybe it expands a little bit faster, but I'm not really sure about that. The Ling harassment, maybe ERIS wouldn't have gone for that. It is difficult to say. Anyway, we do have negativeZero now producing a few Immortals. And yeah, so these Lings are now crossing the map. Gonna be running on in here, as we've got a few Hydras, Roaches on the way. The Zerg has built up to quite a large army, and that means that Dysnomia could be moving out for an attack relatively soon. Grabs an observer of its opponent, and let's see here, we've got an infestation pit, a lurker den on the way for Dysnomia. As +1 Carapace is about to finish for the Zerg, that's going to mean it's 1-1 against 2-0, which is considered an upgrade equality, although there is +3 on the way for negativeZero. As this is going on, the Protoss bot is producing triple Immortal at a time. That is no joke whatsoever, as Immortals, I mean, they're very well-rounded units. I know people go, oh, Immortals against Lings, they're not that good. But it's like, they're pretty good. If you have 10 Immortals, it's not going to be easy for your opponent to kill, and that's kind of what negativeZero is building up to, although its unit movement is out on the map quite a bit. Many Stalkers and Zealots are being pursued by ERIS into a corner. They're fanning out for negativeZero, trying to stay alive. Some of them will be getting caught, though. Maybe this will give opportunity to the Protoss bot elsewhere on the map, as a few Immortals and a Stalker are pushing out towards the 6th base of Dysnomia, which is now taking a 7th and an 8th. The Zerg bot is pushing on in. negativeZero actually prints a tag there saying harass recall, as it just recalls like one of its Immortals, though. It's got many more units out, so it is pulling them forward, but very cool to see a recall getting used by a Protoss bot. That's not something we see every game. The Zerg is going for a bit of a lethal push right now. Has battery overcharge been used? There it goes. That's definitely going to help out. Dysnomia is taking quite a nice trade, all things considered, though. But it seems negativeZero will clean this up. The Zerg now goes into Mutas and Infestors behind this, so a very cool transition by the Zerg bot. Potentially going to be playing Mass Muta. Let's see. I mean, it's already got 6 more buildings, 6 out, 6 on the way, so going up to at least 12 Mutas, making more Hydras, getting out a Baneling Nest. 2-2 being done will definitely help the Zerg out later on. For now, though, negativeZero has taken quite a nice fight that's gonna give it a bit of momentum as it does push across the map. Looks like Dysnomia is focused on a counterattack, and Mutas are definitely one way to counter Mass Immortal play. negativeZero has a response for that program, though, as the bot does go ahead and fire up a Phoenix. And we'll see if there's going to be more than one getting made. Looks like a fungal growth did catch some of the Protoss army. However, Protoss units are pretty tanky against fungal growth. Still, though, this is allowing Hydras to get some good damage done, and they are getting good damage done now that +2 attack is done for them. We've got negativeZero saying harass recall as it spams chat, which is something that it rarely does. I'll turn that off. I guess recall did just come off cooldown at the last second there, so it should be done spamming now. Anyway, these Mutas are flying all over the place, getting some really good harassment done for Dysnomia. The map is lighting up like a Christmas tree. As always, these bot games are an absolute pleasure, but also a nightmare to try and observe, as you just have units controlled independently all over the map. And that's what these best bots do. They do so much at once. It's incredible. As, yeah, they're just doing... I mean, that's the EPM. I truly don't know if you can call that efficient. I believe it stands for efficient actions per minute or something like that. But anyway, negativeZero is shutting down the Muta harassment now that it's got some Phoenix out. Dysnomia does transition into Corruptors. It's getting out Seismic Spines for Lurkers, and the Zerg bot is pushing in once again, hitting this Nexus down here. It looks like it will get it. Disruptor gets a beautiful connection, a triple Infestor kill. Lurkers are now just burrowing to help try and kill this Nexus, but the battery overcharge is keeping this alive. As I say that, though, the battery overcharge runs out. negativeZero brings in all its units. Looks like it is able to clean this up. Mutas are still flying around all over the place. The Zerg is taking so many bases right now, as Dysnomia is doing pretty well for itself. We've got a greater Spire about to complete, more Infestors being produced, Adaptive Talons, and 3/3 upgrades on the way for the Zerg. That's very important. Now, let's see, Mutas are harassing a little bit at this Nexus, but it's massively important that negativeZero was able to keep this Nexus alive. And let's see here, as Colossus and Immortal are out on the map. They're a little bit out there. Corruptor can chase that Colossus, but it is, I guess, a little bit scared to do so. Meanwhile, another Colossus is attacking this hatchery. Disruptor also going to shoot on that. That's another thing bots can do. A human might not be bothered to cast a spell, which takes at least an action or two to fire that out. And let's see here. We have got Vipers flying around, still just kind of holding the line, but not really. Dysnomia has got a lot of economic ground to burn. The Zerg is actually building up a bank, which isn't something you see ERIS do too often. Usually ERIS is trading out so quickly that its bank is never above 0. It's just constantly fighting, which is, well, how it kills enemies so quickly. Now, it looks like negativeZero is catching quite a few of these spellcasters. Viper tosses out a Parasitic Bomb trying to stay alive. These Infestors are very vulnerable, though, underground, and negativeZero seems to be taking better trades than its opponent, as it has very good army control right now. Phoenix flying around independently. Once again, that's the thing. Human players get tired of controlling Phoenix. There's too much going on later in matches, whereas these AI, they do not. And now we've got 4 Disruptors at a time. That is ridiculous for negativeZero. The Zerg bot definitely still leads in bases, as it has got 1 on the side of its opponent, then all of its own. negativeZero is pushing on in. Where's the bulk of the army for Dysnomia? It's really difficult to say, because the Zerg bot is everywhere. These bots are everywhere, fighting all over the place. So it does seem that Dysnomia is losing a bit of ground, but now Broodlords are out. That's quite problematic for the Protoss. Immortal heavy and all that. The Zerg is now starting to push in with these Broodlords. However, they are fairly unsupported, so Phoenix, Tempest are coming on in, gonna chase these away. Looks like the Broodlords are getting some shots off, but there we see Phoenix killing off another one of them. Dysnomia is taking some non-ideal trades as the Phoenix and Tempest are getting many shots off. The Zerg bot is really starting to fall down in the resources as it's just entering a bit of a death spiral, it would seem, investing in these high-cost Corruptors and Infestors. They're not really getting what they need done. Now, the Zerg has got incredible amounts of mining left, however. We do see some drones burrowing, trying to hide from a Tempest. negativeZero did kill off this base, which is quite significant. Dysnomia really is just starting to crumble here, it looks like, as many of its drones are not mining as they're busy hiding underground, and so things are looking quite good for negativeZero. The Protos bot has weathered the Zerg storm, been able to build up that strong army composition that trades out better, and then just negativeZero's constant attacks doing things like keeping these drones underground is so huge. And then just look at this, 2 Stalkers and a Sentry, a hit squad. This is something that's difficult to program, to pull off, to make your bot harass with a few units effectively, but at the same time, it's probably even harder to program a response to. It's not easy to program solid defense in a bot, that's why we've got to appreciate the bots that are generally quite good at it, but once again, Dysnomia, well, ERIS falls down, and the way that it falls is quite epic. All of a sudden you're like, okay, things are going good, it's trading out, and then that supply kind of just starts to plummet a little bit, and then it just dies all of a sudden because the Zerg bot trades out so much and so quickly that when it can't replace those units, it's just like, oh, I've got not that much left. Now we're down to 90 supply against 200, so negativeZero does seem to win these games when they go a bit longer, which is quite impressive, as a Tempest shoots away at this hatchery, but I do believe the Protoss has got this one. Corruptors are flying forward. ERIS does have darn good Corruptor control. Gonna catch a few Tempest, it looks like. No, not quite. It does have to retreat, unfortunately. It is quite difficult to control armies of this caliber, I imagine, but negativeZero, its attack style, it's like a DDoS of attacks, just hit hard, hard, rapidly, and unending, I guess. And it's just so difficult to react. Like, everywhere, all over the map, negativeZero has units attacking, and it just cripples the mining of the Zerg. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this cast, go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. Yeah, I have been doing more YouTube videos since I started recording for the second channel. So I did notice my voice was getting a little bit sore there. So for this video, I was actually trying to talk in a bit of a higher octave. I was actually reading about it because I'm like, okay, why is my voice getting sore when I commentate a little bit? Which is something that I've noticed, but it's never been too much of a problem. Don't worry, guys, I'm not going to become a husky Starcraft, say my voice hurts, and then just disappear forever. Yeah, but basically, I'm looking into it, trying to take more care of my voice, that kind of thing. And so you might have noticed I was talking in a bit of a, or trying to at least, anyway, talk in a bit of a higher octave, because realistically, I at most do about two hours of videos a day. Of course, then I talk in all sorts of other ways. And from my little bits of limited reading, my voice is probably hurting because I just naturally talk in a bit of a deeper octave, which is just not a natural thing people do. I think it's called like fry or something. I was trying to read about it, but it's one of those topics like voice lessons and things like that that are so detailed. There's a lot of info on it, but yeah, so I might try and bring it up a pitch to use those other ranges of my voice, because apparently talking in those deeper octaves is harder on your voice. So I might try and adjust my style a little bit You guys can always leave feedback, whatnot, but I am just prioritizing that. I've realized that I might not be able to do a video on each channel every day, but I definitely will prioritize this channel as it is my main channel. And the main reason why I created the second channel was because I just wanted to be able to post other content if I wanted to without it negatively affecting this channel, because that's unfortunately how YouTube metric works. If you post a video that it's like not everyone tunes into, it hurts the channel overall, which is why I made that switch, and it's already showing good results. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in, listening to that little bit of rant at the end of the video. If you do want to support the channel, all the links and everything for that are in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.